Hey everyone, I'm Joe and today I'm going to be talking about my Spooky October TBR and the books for the last quarter of my SFF reading project for this year. So this video is in two halves. The first half is a spooky Halloween themed October selection of books, 6 of them in total. I read a spooky themed October last year and I really enjoyed it, so I've been purposely planning this month since then, and I've been really looking forward to it. I'm really eager to read these books as well. And the second half is also 6 books, and that is the science fiction and fantasy books that I'm reading each month in October, November and December as part of my SFF reading project, which, if you know by now, is an ongoing project that I've started at the start of the year and which will continue in a slightly modified form next year as well. So without further delay, I'll start talking about the spooky October books. The first of which is The Garbage Man by Joseph DeLacy. This is a book that I bought around 2, maybe 3 years ago, and it sounded really interesting at the time. It's about a guy who moves to an area within the UK in Wales, and it's quite close to a garbage sort of disposal area or a landfill site essentially, and there's something weird about this landfill site. Obviously, as you can see by the title, there's some sort of possessed spirit or something. I don't really know, but it sounded really good at the time and I'm finally getting around to reading it. The second book is Christine by Stephen King. It wouldn't really be an October spooky read without at least one Stephen King. Actually, there's 2 in this one. This is about a demonically possessed car. A young guy buys it, and this car goes round killing anybody who upsets him or something. And it sounds really interesting, and it's one that I've been wanting to read for quite a few years, especially since I've now got into Stephen King and really like him. The second Stephen King book is Misery. This is about an author who has an accident in the mountains and he gets rescued by this person. Unfortunately, the person is a big fan of his, and this is not a good thing for him because he has just killed off in his big series of books his main character, and this person is a big fan and really doesn't like the fact that he's killed off his character, so basically forces him to bring this character back to life, otherwise they will kill the guy or something. It sounds really interesting and it's one that I've been curious about for quite a few years as well. The next is The Rats by James Herbert. This is a really nice copy. First of all, I absolutely love this edition. It's 40th edition, and the plot of it is that the rats in London, which London is famed for, start to become more intelligent and they start to become rather evil and start to kill people in the modern age. And it's one that sounds really interesting, and there's also 3 sequels to it as well, which I might read, obviously depending on if I enjoy this enough. The next is also by James Herbert, and that is The Secret of Crickley Hall. This is a supernatural horror which is about a haunted house and there's ghosts in it or something weird about it, and frankly that's kind of all I know. A family of people move into it or something and weird things start to occur and things presumably get worse from there, and it sounds interesting and I know of at least one person who will be interested in buddy reading this for me. The final spooky book is Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. I got this last year I believe, and it's one that sounds quite interesting. It's set in a small town America and there are weird sort of supernatural occurrences and weird things to do with dreams in it, and it sounds really creepy and just really good, and I've so far liked what I've read of Ray Bradbury, so I'm actually very eager to read this. So onto the SFF project books. The first for October is The Dispossessed by Ursula Le Guin. I've only ever read one other SF books before and I really enjoyed it, so this will be the second, and I want to read more by her because she's a very influential figure within science fiction. This is a book set within the Hainish universe. It is the 5th one, and I would be surprised if I didn't enjoy this. The fantasy book is Elric of Melanie Bone, I think that's how you pronounce it, by Michael Moorcock. I've never read anything by him. I've heard of him multiple times for a very long time and just never got around to reading him for some unknown reason, as you do. And this is a library edition, hence why it's so shiny, and it's one that I've been curious about for a very long time as well. It's a classic fantasy story and one that I'm eager to read. Onto the books for November, the first of which is The Female Man by Joanna Russ. This is a science fiction story which deals with equality and touches on feminism. I don't know much about the plot, but it does sound interesting, and people that I trust have read this and have liked it, so I'm just going to read it. And of course it is a important book from what I can tell within the overall genre, and has some really interesting and quite unusual ideas in it, I believe. I could be wrong, however. The next book is Weave World by Clive Barker. This is a fantasy horror. It's one that I've heard of a very long time ago. This used to actually be my sister's edition, but she gave it me one day because she has no interest in reading it and she doesn't particularly like this genre anymore. So obviously I greatly benefited it. And it's one that sounds quite interesting. The plot sounds pretty weird and mad, but from what I can tell of Clive Barker, that's pretty much normal for him. And it does sound really interesting, and I've been wanting to read this ever since my sister gave it me last year. Now onto the books for December, which I don't have physical copies of. The first of which is A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'll be reading this as an ebook edition, which you can download for free, legally that is. And it's one that I've heard of and never got around to reading. It's very influential within the science fiction genre. It's a story about a Civil War era guy called John Carter who gets transported to Mars. He meets up with a princess, hence the title, and there's a series of adventures. There are 6 books-ish in the series, and obviously if I like the first, then I will make my way through the other 5 or 6 books, however many there actually are. The final book of this video is The Once and Future King by T.H. White. This is a fantasy novel set around Arthur and Camelot and the Knights of the Round Table. It's a retelling of the legend or myth, whatever you want to class it as, and it just sounds really interesting. I don't own a copy yet, but I plan to in the fairly near future. And it just sounds really curious and one that I am quite interested to read. So that's it for the books part of this video. If you would like to read any of these with me as part of a buddy read, then let me know and we can arrange how to get that started. I'm always eager and happy to read books with people and have interesting discussions and conversations with people, because it's just sheer fun and you probably discover a little bit more about the book than you might otherwise do. And of course I want BookTube to be a social thing as I can physically get it to be. And with that said, that's it for this video, so thank you for watching and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.